Mercedes Moné
Moné.
versus Moné versus Mickie James. I'm not saying it's set in stone. I'm not saying it's booked. I'm not saying it's signed. I'm saying that it's actually becoming more of a reality, and I'll tell you why. So, Lou D'Angeli and well, let's go ahead and double back. Let's go back even further than that because JD, you weren't on the show last week, and this is what I
I
personally
was
let
not.
off. Yeah, so Mercedes Moné took to Instagram and put up a picture of Mickie James, right, holding the Knockouts title, which was kind of cool, right? Well, I didn't expect that. And then she does an interview. I can't remember with who, but she does an interview promoting the upcoming or the Battle in the Valley pay per view, and said that yes, she would absolutely like to wrestle Mickie James, and called her out specifically. And then at Battle in the Valley, when she wins the IWGP Championship over Kairi Sane, which great match by the way. I don't know if you've got a chance to watch that match, but I really liked it.
I had a
I
chance to
thought
watch it.
I thought her and Sane did an excellent job. But she wins the IWGP title
I think she's just
after the
Kyrie now. I don't think she's Kyrie
is
Sane or Kyrie Hojo. I think she's just Kyrie.
okay.
Like
Okay, that gives
stylized in
me
the
the correction.
all caps Japanese, like a lot of the Japanese
Yeah.
performers do, all caps English. Yeah,
Okay. Cool. Kyrie, my bad, my
Kyrie.
mistake. But she defeats Kyrie in a great match, and after the match, she posted on Instagram again a picture of her and Impact executive Lou D'Angeli, the former signed guy Dudley. That picks up a little bit of steam there, and then yesterday morning on Busted Open Radio, Scott D'Amore and Mickie James are on the show. Mickie James is one of the hosts, and they talked to Scott about it, and he said, "Absolutely, she's great. We had the chance to meet. We need to absolutely make that match, and we need to make it happen somewhere, some way." And Mickie James, obviously, doing her job promoting a match that may or may not ever happen, but saying that yes, she's in. They need to have the match. She's never wrestled her one-on-one. This absolutely has to happen. So I guess my question to you, JD, and maybe somebody can go back and replay some of the episodes of you and I talking about Sasha Banks when she was released. We probably shit on the complete
Oh
idea that
yeah,
maybe she would come to Impact. So what are your thoughts now?
I think she wants the match.
That's what I think, right? Like it seems pretty fucking obvious to me.
So it's so funny to me because when she got released, right, and she got released like 6 months ago, like I said, by the way, the story was money, 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 or money, money, money. Like
Yeah.
that all she cared about was money, if you will. I don't think that's the case.
No.
I think that is what they said about John Moxley when he left WWE. All he cares about is money. I think that she does like money. She just signed. I keep forgetting with who. Some big Italian agency just signed her, so
Uh,
she does like money.
yeah.
But I also think there's this bunch of stuff she wants to do. Um,
Yeah.
it. I I think she wants this match. I don't think she's going to be like a regular character on the show,
No.
but I think she wants the match. Now, here's what I'll propose to you.
Yeah.
Do we redo the belt collector thing with Mercedes?
That's the exact scenario that I proposed last week.
I was not here last week, so yeah.
Well, yeah, I know, and I kind of presented that to the audience. My take is yes, you absolutely do that. I think that there's no downside to that. I think they do the match, but I'll ask you what your thoughts on when they should have the match, but which event they should have the match because I have some thoughts on that. I 100% I think that she should be the IWGP champion. She should be the Impact champion. All you have to do is just show up in AAA, and if you're an American, they give you a fucking belt.
The Reign of the Reigns title, they just throw it at her.
Yeah, yeah. Like they could not wait to give her the Reign of the Reigns title, and it appears that she really wants to do lucha. Now, whether she goes to CMLL, who seems to be making a bit of a comeback, or AAA, that's beyond me. But she's free and clear to do whatever the hell she wants.
Her contract is with New Japan,
But she can do whatever.
She can do whatever. But is she gonna want to be like cool with the home team?
Yeah.
My thought is she might want to do CM because again, they have belts. Like this is Mexico. Belts don't mean nearly as much there as they do here, right?
Yeah.
A belt is just a way to promote something, right? So I I could be wrong on this, but I'm of the opinion that it's probably a CML thing because CML is getting
Yeah,
hot again, right?
they are.
Supposed to have great shows. I need to sit and watch one of them soon. Now, here's something that just got announced. It didn't get announced, but they just leaked today that June 24th is Forbidden Door 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need a hook to sell that show, and belt collector Sasha, or excuse me, Mercedes, I think is the way to go. Like I
I
think you belt her up everywhere else as soon as possible. Bring her into AEW where you can use her to sell pay-per-views
yeah.
as and the main event. And I think that because I don't think there's a bigger match right now. Anyone versus anyone in AEW versus anyone in New Japan, with the exception of maybe Okada Omega 5 or
Mm-hmm.
Okada Punk, if that is a possibility down the line. I don't see anything else that could possibly be bigger than Mercedes versus like either a Britt Baker or a Jamie Hayter or something like that. I don't.
Yeah, so I think that if you have Sasha versus Britt Baker or Sasha versus Hayter, I don't think that that would main event over a
I do.
CM Punk versus Okada.
I don't. I don't.
I don't.
I that's yeah. Assuming you don't get those
Yeah.
matches, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
saying the
maybe
only matches that could be bigger, and who knows if those matches are in the works or not. You know.
yeah. Yeah, who knows what's in the works because we
Right.
thought we were gonna get all these crazy fantasy dream matches.
That
And
didn't happen.
Forbidden Door 1 still was very good, by the way. I'm
Hey,
not
I
insult,
I
but
had my seats. I enjoyed it.
yeah. Oh, and you paid about 10 times more than what they were worth day of. They were like $2 tickets day
I'm
of.
aware. I'm aware.
But so I do think you're right. I do think they're gonna have to have a hook to sell that show, but double back to Impact.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple of shows coming up for Impact, a couple big shows. We
Soon
have
as
the
possible.
we have the Multiverse United, which is New Japan versus Impact, and then we have Rebellion in Toronto. I said my piece last week, JD. What say you? Which one should she be on? And obviously main event, but which one should she be headlining?
The obvious one is multiverse,
Yeah,
but I don't think there's enough time, and I think that multiverse tends to get swallowed up in the WrestleMania hype, right?
yeah,
Because I I don't think it's good for her brand to just be on another WrestleMania weekend show because that's what it is. Let's be honest. Like it's just another
hmm
WrestleMania weekend show. I think you do it pay per view.
it's a WrestleCon event. Those
It's a
tickets,
WrestleCon event. Yeah.
yeah, those tickets flew is because everybody's
Mhm.
already in town. They're cheap tickets. They're going
Yeah.
to a bunch of shows anyway. Yeah.
You don't need it on that show.
Mm.
Whereas in Toronto, that could be your hook. Same deal.
Yeah.
Like my exact same thing I said about AEW. Do the exact same for Impact. Scales a little bit smaller. Now you have people hanging off the rafters, and you can probably do the best pay-per-view numbers you've done since the Kenny Swan match.
Yeah.
Maybe bigger because we have a bit. There's more outreach now.
Yeah. I that in the you hit the nail on the head. That was my exact thoughts last week. I don't think that the Multiverse United needs it.
No,
Now the tickets are already sold, and I'm not one of those guys who's like, hey, once the tickets are sold, you don't really need to load the card. I think you still need to do that because
I
it's a pay per view. Yeah, it's a pay per view, but this is also a pay per view on Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern. It's not going to do big business. It might do
no.
big business and video on demand on Impact Plus and New Japan World afterwards. Not a lot of people are going to be staying up that late on a Thursday on a school night to be doing that. I think the money is in Mickie versus Sasha in
Moné,
Toronto,
the Moné.
or the money, or there is a knockout in Impact who is a legend who also happens to be from Toronto.
I could see that. I know where you're
Yeah,
going with this. Gale
yeah.
versus Mickey. I
Now
like that
I
as well.
I
Go ahead.
I'm talking Gale versus Monet.
Oh.
Maybe
Hmm.
maybe you do Mickey versus Sasha in Japan at a
Hmm.
Stardom show. I don't know what their schedule's like. I'm
Hmm.
just ballparking it. And then in Toronto you do Mercedes versus Gale.
I think you could, but I don't think you should. I think you
Okay.
should. And this is why, because Gale's been on the shelf for quite a long time. I don't think you want that in front of your hometown because I don't think you want to overshadow the potential main event. I think that Gale in the hometown against Mercedes, you run a chance of too much going on at one time. To be honest with you, I think that's a match you could run at Slammiversary.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I think you could kick that down. I think you can kick the can and that do it later in the summer. I don't know if Gail's gonna. I know she's talking about doing some comeback stuff, but I don't know. I don't know
Uh,
if that's. I don't know
she's
if that's the spot.
she's been teasing it on Twitter, man, and I
She
was
has
just
been.
like, man, is she? Because Rebellion's in Toronto. That's her hometown. She came back a few years ago and wrestled Tessa in
Did
Toronto at the Rebellion show.
no?
So
She could still come back, right? You could still
yeah,
wrestle her against Diana or Masha or whoever, right? Jordan. There's plenty of stuff to do with, but I don't think you put her in a title match right away. Anyway, I think you could build. I think that deserves build, right?
okay, yeah,
Because that could be a big match. But I think that if you just put Mickie versus Mercedes up as a match, I think that sells on its own, right?
well,
Because you got this foreign
especially if it's
invader.
yeah, and it's title versus title.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah,
a lot going on there. I think with Gail, that like the comeback is the story, and then there's a lot to that. I think that could be a Slammiversary or something like that
okay,
down the road. That's what I would
yeah.
do. Scott Demore has this knack of doing nothing like I would do it. So, who knows what they're gonna do.
Yeah, who knows? But man, I can't believe you and I are sitting here on this podcast and we have to eat shit a little bit because we were like, no, there's no fucking way. I'm pretty sure I was incredulous get to people thinking who thought that they had a chance to get her, and now here I am like a
Well,
dipshit.
hold on. Sign. We talked about signing. They ain't gonna sign her to a contract.
No, no,
She will do
but
shots. She'll do some dates. Right.
no, no,
But
and
apparently they don't
I'm
sign
not.
anybody. No.
No, no, I'm not thinking they're going to sign her because I don't think she's going to sign anywhere.
No, I agree, but
I,
that's what we talked about. We talked about her signing, right? I
I,
don't think we said
I
anything
feel
coming
like you're.
in.
I feel like you're giving us a little extra credit here.
It
I
might
don't think
be.
we thought there was a hope in hell that she would ever appear on Impact.
No.
That was where I was at.
Here's the thing. Never cease to underestimate what millionaires want to do with their time.
Yeah.
Right. And we all assume, because we're poor, we all assume that millionaires think like us. You only do things for the money. But the truth of the matter is when you have the money, you can do whatever you want to do. So maybe
Yes.
maybe she doesn't make a lot of money coming into Impact for a few shots. Maybe she just scratches an itch and kind of does the thing she wants to do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and again, she's kind of doing like what Danielson talked about when he left the Federation, right? It's just like
Mm.
doing stuff for the sake of making wrestling cool, and I feel like
Well,
that's what she's doing. I feel like she's one of the few people that could make a difference outside of that system in 2023.
it reminds me a lot of Drew Galloway, his run outside the Federation. Although she's a much bigger star than he
Bigger.
was,
Mm-hmm.
much bigger star than he was whenever he was in WWE the first time. He's huge right now. Don't get me wrong, but when he was there, he left and then he became a bigger star
Yeah.
outside the system, and he went everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like he did every indie. He went to and he stayed in Impact and he did great at Impact and he was a top guy here. And then he made himself a much bigger, a hotter commodity, a more valuable commodity, and they brought him back, and he's one of their top 5 guys now. But
Mm-hmm.
I could see her, even though she's starting off she's bigger than when he was. I see her doing something like that.
No, for sure. Drew's end game was to go back. I don't know if her end game is to go back. I don't know what her
Yeah.
end game is. I don't know if she knows. You know what? It's more like it's almost like Cody a little bit more.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
because Cody was like, Drew worked, right? Like
Mhm.
Drew just was nose to the grindstone and just worked. Cody was a hype machine.
Yeah.
From the moment he left, he had that silly list that everybody laughed at, and then he did it. And then he just kept growing his own legend to the point now he's main eventing WrestleMania. So, crazy. I mean, like, I don't know if she wants to go back necessarily. Because again, never try to understand the motivations of millionaires.
Mhm.
Right. But right now she seems to be interested in growing her brand. And I think that I think this is the way to do it, is to kind of get
Yeah.
out there amongst the people, like all Vox Populi and whatnot.
Yeah, well, and I think that she wants to prove that she can draw money outside of the machine, right? Because the machine is what draws. There are few people that can draw bigger than what the machine can, and we've seen that recently where certain ratings and ticket sales are going up in certain markets because of certain people.
Yeah.
We've seen that now. Now we're starting to see with Sasha. She leaves the machine, and now she's like, "Here, this is what I think I could do outside of the machine. This is the value of my brand." And then, sure enough, the moment they announced that she was coming to Battle in the Valley,
Sold
boom,
out.
sell out.
Mhm.
Sell out. It honestly, they should have moved it to the HP Pavilion where the San Jose Sharks play. and they should have went for the 5,000 number. Honestly, if they had that foresight, they should have done that. But I don't think they planned it very well.